And we are live. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Growth Path. Today I'm super excited to have somebody on that I used to work very closely with actually. I've got Paige McPheely on, who is the CEO of Base. Paige spent 11 years scaling a remote first venture backed business and believes productivity isn't about doing more, it's about designing a life and company that actually works. She now also shares her insights to help other founders protect their time, trust their team, and lead without burning out. And on top of that, we were just catching up before this. She has moved herself, her husband, and her entire family over to Spain in the past year and is now based out of Valencia after being in North Carolina, right?
South Carolina, Greenville.
South Carolina. I was so close.
Everyone
South
does
Carolina.
that.
South Carolina. South Carolina. Okay, but great to see you again, Paige.
I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so a bit of background. So Paige was actually with Base my first fractional CMO gig, I believe, or one of the first. It was like in those first couple of weeks, right? So
yeah, I think you were kind of just starting out your own business, so we were a good guinea pig.
Yeah, and actually, I joke about this a fair bit. You may not know this, but I didn't know what a fractional CMO was when I first started doing this. It wasn't like that I didn't have a grand plan to be a fractional CMO, right? It just sort of happened, and it happened there because Lindsay Chepkema, who people may or may not know, she's been on this podcast before. I know Lindsay a long time. Lindsay was, now you know Lindsay a long time. At the time, you guys were both Base was backed by High Alpha. She was the CEO of a company that was also backed by High Alpha, an investment house based out of Indy. And she introduced us, right? Because you needed help on the marketing front. And it's funny, like I joke a little bit because when I started the business almost by accident, because I just said, oh yeah, give you a hand and see what happens. And that was maybe June or something. And then by September, October, I was like, shit, I should probably like have a website and stuff because there's like more and more stuff coming in, you know.
Running all of our marketing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I then, you introduced me, we were on a board meeting with High Alpha, and you introduced me to like, hi, this is Andy, by the way, our fractional CMO. And I was like, oh, that's what I am. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. And I'd never even heard of the term before until you introduced me to the board as the fractional CMO.
I
was like,
know that. That's fantastic.
There you go. And on many different podcasts, that's like everything that I'm on now where I'm giving that story. You're always a major star in that story, Paige. Now I'm out you who's that person was. It was you, Paige.
I'm honored.
So there you go. So Paige, tell me, what are you up to at the moment?
Yeah, so at Base, I don't think you said this in too much detail in the beginning, but Base, we just match leaders with great executive assistants, remote executive assistants. Been doing it now for quite a while, and my story is actually pretty similar to yours, where we kind of started it accidentally. Didn't have this grand vision. We didn't even call our assistants executive assistants at the time. We were just kind of like, I think it was business managers, because we were just going into organizations and plugging holes. And so eventually we were like, oh, it's really like what a great executive assistant would do. And so that's continued to grow over the years. We built software for the EAs. We built software to help us really figure out how to find the right fit. I think that's what we do really, really well. And now I'm doing a lot of stuff like this, just trying to talk to people about the value of not always being crazy stressed out as a means of being really successful.
I mean, it's hard, right? Like I try to talk to you. You've been in tech, right? How long have you been in tech for now? This point, you started Base when?
6 years, 6 years. End of 2018.
End of 2018, so this is 7 years almost, right? So it's like it's hard to not, when you're in tech, like it's a different pace, right? I tell buddies of mine that are like not in tech, they're like, "What are you talking about? How could you be so stressed?" I'm like, you have no idea. You don't know what pace things move at, you know, what the way that people think and the way that people move is completely different in tech than it is in any other space, I think. And you were also before that, remind me what industry you were in before that. You were in FMCG or something, right?
Advertising and sales.
Advertising.
And I've always found my way to those spaces.
Okay. It's like, but I don't know how it was for you to make the move into tech, especially as a founder, right?
Yeah. For me, stepping into the venture back space was just a harsh slap of reality because it was a completely different situation. That's where the pace really got crazy and the expectations were really intense, and it felt like a hamster wheel of, especially for venture funding, where you have these somewhat arbitrary milestones that you are trying to get to as fast as you possibly can before you run out of money so that you can raise some more money. And I think we could have a different conversation about the merits and the challenges with that system. But what I think is a result for us as individuals is that we're faced with this completely, it's an arbitrary choice between being really stressed out and burnt out, or not being a founder, not building a business. And I don't think that we should have to choose between the two. And a lot of it comes with just help and support and assistance are one of those things, but we're just not talking about it very much. I think what I realized after becoming incredibly stressed out and overwhelmed is like I was doing this to myself. People weren't necessarily making me so stressed out. It was the pressure that I put on myself to be in this space.
I can completely relate to that. Like, and I've been trying to keep an eye on it myself, doing that as well. Because like, look, the hours can get long and you can get super into things. At the end of the day, I have been trying this recently. It's actually been working pretty well to have it a bit of a fuck it mentality. I mean, excuse my French. So we're allowed to curse in this podcast. My podcast, we do ever say whatever we want.
Whatever you want.
But to have the fuck it mentality, like what's the end? Like at the end of the day, if I don't do that right now and it doesn't get done at this very minute, is that going to be the end of the world? Will anybody care? Probably
exactly. Like most of us don't work in a life or death industry. It's truly not as urgent as we act like it is, whatever the thing may be. And there are urgent moments, there are stressful periods, there are sprints that you have to get into. But yeah, I think we're running this rat race of our own volition. And I think we're kind of killing ourselves in the process. People on their deathbed aren't looking back and saying, man, I really wish I would have worked more hours. They're wishing they would have spent more time with the people they love, doing the things that they love. And I think if we don't fit that into your daily or regular rhythm, I would argue you wouldn't be as successful as you could be.
I agree with that. How are you finding Spain influencing that lifestyle for you? I guess it's been a massive factor, right?
It's been huge. It was also part of why we came here is because we knew there would be such a huge culture shock to us. I think we had to be forced into it rather than saying repeatedly, we're going to slow down. We're going to not continue to pile our plates so full. But here you walk around at 10 in the morning and so many people are drinking beer. Like it's just part of their second meal of the day, where a beer is just part of it, and they're laughing and talking. And that's the sound of Valencia, and I imagine all of Spain is talking and laughing around tables. And it's just a different pace. And so all of a sudden we feel like we're crazy, running around stressed out, trying to get everywhere. And it's helped a ton to slow down.
That's nice. I think there's a certain element like with the US as well, having been working with US companies and US teams for the past 15 years almost myself, you can see a massive difference, right? It's US is okay, more, all the time, and it's not actually, the quality is never better. It's a lot more, but it's like quality normally is worse because of the fact that it just needs to be focused on more rather than quality.
Right.
And it's funny, like I even remember when we were working together in the team, like somebody on the team said to me, it was none about the quality of work now, so don't worry, but it was more about what the team's perception was, because I was based in Europe and I was the only person based in Europe. And that first year when we were working together, so I think I went on vacation for 2 weeks or something. It wasn't anything exceptional. Yeah, right away. Yeah, because I had a book, so I was like, I'm doing it, right? So, but it wasn't like an exceptional amount of time in European standards, right? But the next year when I was like, oh, I'm going on vacation, people were like, oh, are you taking the entire summer off again? And I was like, what? I was like, I'm taking 2 weeks off. Like, if I was to take the whole summer off, like, you'd do a Nordic style, and go away for the entirety of July and some of August,
Right.
But I was like,
yeah, you say it's not like an extravagantly long vacation, but it is by US standards. Like a week is like, oh man, you're really living.
Which is sad, right? Like I find like I guess you're loving it being in Europe now with that sort of mentality, especially in Spain. Like the things like you just said, I love that sitting outside and people sitting and talking to one another. People aren't checking their phones the whole time, waiting for the next email to come in, getting back to Slack. No, like they're in the moment, enjoying the people around them, enjoying the moment, enjoying family time, and that's missing, Like I think it's creeping in to Europe in certain markets. Like I see that in the UK, I see it in Ireland. Being Irish, I'm not based in Ireland, I'm based in Austria, as you know. But you don't see it as much here, but I definitely see it in Ireland. Ireland's very influenced by American culture, just because it's so close to actually to the US. Like Ireland's like the next country when you leave the States. When you go from New York, the next country you're going to meet is Ireland. So it's so yeah, it's interesting. I'm just interested to hear like how that has been for you and your family.
Yeah. Well, you know what I realized as I created the actual space to slow down, I felt a lot of it was either guilt, sometimes it was guilt, sometimes it was just like I'm not trying hard enough. If I'm not stressed out, I'm not really busy and behind, then that means I'm not earning my keep. And as I started just talking about that with peers and the team, found out like so many people feel this way. It's like we have to show how hard we're working constantly, and I think that's so much of it. If we're modeling, no, I am going to go for lunch or take 2 weeks off or whatever, then it kind of gives other people permission to do the same thing.
Yeah, I think like it's funny. I can definitely relate to what you just said there about like this needing to feel busy, and if you're not busy, you're like shit, something's going wrong.
Yeah,
Like I'm
you're
gonna
crying.
I'm gonna get fired. I'm gonna get fired because I'm not doing enough work.
You're enjoying your life too much.
Jesus Christ, it's like I used to have a boss, and he was actually from the States, and he used to come over to Europe, and we had like people on the team that would be like, real down the dumps about things. He'd be like, "Oh, this isn't the Opus Day. Like, relax. Like, it's okay." Like, he's like, whipping yourself because the campaign didn't go well. Like, but that same mentality, like just beating the shit out of yourself because like it's because you feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not on this constant hamster wheel, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
I guess by definition, it's exhausting.
Mm.
So that's like I found just baked so deeply into my cultural psyche that has actually been the hardest part for me as I create this space and work with the team to do it. Where I just still kind of sit around antsy, feeling like, man, I've got nothing to show for myself today, and it's so stupid, really, when you think about it.
Absolutely. So tell me, like, you're doing other things. You just mentioned beforehand you're writing a book. Are you able to talk about that at all yet?
Yeah, I could talk about it. It's still a little ways from actually being out in the world, but it's about these same sorts of things. Is this idea that you can build a breakout successful business without breaking yourself apart, and how to systematically do that. And I'm my own guinea pig for a lot of it, which has been a good experiment. I think maybe I'm writing the book that I needed to read because of all of these
Mm-hmm.
bad habits that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, about how to breathe a little bit in your life and still be wildly ambitious.
So it's important, right, to be able to. I think like the most important thing that you've shown me now is like just be able to take a step away a little bit and just relax.
Mm-hmm.
As I've seen as well that you've the way that you've structured base now a bit as well. You're still CEO, right? But you've
Mm-hmm.
taken in a general manager as well. That's probably doing more of the day to day things. I would guess without knowing any of the details. I just seen that Sarah now is a GM or managing director, and I
Managing
guess
director.
that a lot of the things that you would have had to do are probably
Mm-hmm.
now delegated over to her, right? Or how is that playing out for you?
Yeah, exactly right. It's been a really good journey. The team really respects her, and she's been a peer amongst the team for a long time. So none of us were sure how would this go for her to step into this type of leadership role, but she's done a great job. And um, maybe it's because she's a little bit younger than me, or maybe it's because it's a newer role. She's got so much energy. She
Mm.
brings so much energy and excitement to the role, and they're just getting shit done, and it's so fun to watch. And I'm still there, very involved in the team, but I'm not the person that people come to with questions, and I'm not the one really getting into the weeds. So it's been really fun. It's been really fun because, you know what I realized? I didn't intentionally bake in any time for fun before. And I think I've noticed this. Many people aren't doing that. You feel kind of guilty if you go off and have fun. But I found in doing whatever it might be, like I wander the streets here a bunch, and I have so many interesting ideas when I have no agenda and I'm just wandering through a city.
That sounds super nice. Super nice. Wandering the streets of Valencia, enjoying yourself. That's important.
Right.
Like just to do nothing. Like myself and my wife were talking about it today. We were actually we're really concerned about smartphones, right? This is probably a topic in your house with your kids, right? At the age that they're at. Your eldest is what now, 12?
Almost 12, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess he probably already has a smartphone, right? It's hard to avoid.
No, no
Oh,
smartphone.
good for you. Good for
I
you.
know. They do have Apple Watches, which we found is enough. It achieves enough of the same things that a phone would achieve. It's annoying. I can't really type on it. There's no social media, and all of that is perfect for us. But they have laptops at school, and then it's the Nintendos. They've got Switches, and like
Okay,
that
yeah.
like dopamine hit that they get, and they have zero ability to regulate any of that. So yeah, it's been a big topic in our house.
So this is, I said, the reason why I was saying about the smartphone thing was because you just mentioned like walking around the city, just like nothing, just absorbing it, right? We're seeing kids nowadays like that. So Teresa was telling me today, my wife was saying that there's a documentary that I should watch as well, but she watched it there, an Austrian documentary about the amount of screen time that kids are having per day. And the average that they were seeing, they went in one school and they did it across, I don't know, they did like a study across 150 students or something. The average screen time across those 150 students a day was, guess how much? Per 24 hours in a day, average screen time.
8 hours?
14 to 16
Oh my
hours.
gosh.
They are doing nothing else than looking at their phone. So this whole thing, like we're ingraining that tech sort of mind VC backed tech mindset that was killing all of us via because we're being constantly pinged from every single angle, and you know the smartphone with the Slack coming in and your Teams coming in and email coming in, constantly being available. That's now like we're starting with the new generation of kids. They're like growing up with that, right? And they're literally walking down the street, you know, like walking into shit because they're looking at their.
Totally. And you know, when you're looking at a phone, no one can tell. Are you doing a really important thing for work, or are you just scrolling on something stupid? And like your kids can't tell. All they can see is
Uh-huh,
you doing this. And so now
uh-huh,
they're doing
uh-huh.
exactly what we do. Have you ever tried to or noticed when you stand in line how many people are on their phone or when you're waiting for anything?
It's horrific.
It's horrific. So I not all the time, but as a rule, I try to just stand there and not look at my phone, and you just look at everybody on their phone
Yeah,
instead.
yeah, it's terrible.
It's wild.
It's
Mm-hmm.
terrible. It's terrible. Like it's like, but the point was, and I think this goes back to everything that you were saying. Like, just like be in the moment, enjoy the surroundings, like have fun. And one of the things that came out from this documentary that they did was that they actually took the phones away from a select number of these kids. They started to go through withdrawals, by the way. So they started to have like headaches and stuff, and they started to feel sick, and they were getting grumpy and shit, right? Crazy stuff, right? Stuff that you see like with a drug addict, basically. Like if you gave up smoking or caffeine or whatever, right? The same sort of effects. Um, and then what actually happened was after them being out of it for 2 weeks, the kids themselves started to realize, oh God, I'm actually missing out on so much. You know, like I'm instead of looking at my phone, I'm actually spending the time with my parents, my grandparents, my siblings, whatever. And we're like playing table tennis or we're playing a card game or we're just doing something together that I actually enjoy rather than this, you know, it's not you might think you're being social, but in reality, you're not, right? You're talking to
Mm-hmm.
somebody else via phone probably. But, and yeah, I think it's based on what you were saying before and like the enjoying ourselves and tuning out a bit and allowing that to be okay. I think like this is the key to life rather than just the key to working in tech, right? So it's like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. is the key to happiness. And I think just imagine if people in tech were happy and well rested and had space for fun and creativity in their lives. Like it would be a different world, and we might have even more progress than we already do.
100% agree. Look, Paige, we're after coming up on time. It's been lovely speaking with you again. Where can people find you?
basehq.com or pagemcpheely.com, the easiest. And of course, I'm on LinkedIn.
Perfect. I'll make sure that all of the links are shared in the bio or the description of this episode. And again, it's been lovely speaking. Thanks for spending the time to come on. And yeah, stay in touch.
Love being here. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you. Guys, this has been another episode of Growth Path. Tune in again next week for more great content. Thanks, Paige.
Thanks.